Hey guys, what's going on? Today, this morning I went out and was going to go fishing, but I was looking at my Nautide app, which right there, and looked at Clapboard Creek, which is where I was around about where I was planning on fishing, and they said that the inland winds were going to be around 3 mile an hour with southwest winds. So I drove all the way out to Jacksonville, and lo and behold, there were not 3 mile an hour winds. So I went ahead and I went over to my trusty Weather Channel app and looked, and for around the time whenever I was out there, saying 14 mile an hour or 14 mile per hour winds. If we go out there now at 9 a.m. at your southwest winds are at 15 miles an hour. I'm just not fishing in that. So yesterday what I did was took a few of my kitchen knives and decided that I would go ahead and sharpen them. They were starting to get dull, especially on redfish when you got those larger scales. I was having an issue with cutting through, and so what I'm deciding to do today is to try to hopefully help you guys out. It's not super expensive, and the cool thing is I actually prefer sharpening a cheaper knife. Reason being is the knives, the cheaper they are, the softer the metal tends to be, and whenever you have a softer metal, of course, it's easier to sharpen. I have a whetstone with a coarse and a fine side. I also have a sharpening steel or refining steel or whatever it is. It's the chef thing. It's the tool chefs use. You'll see them doing this in the kitchen. It's cheap, 10 bucks. The whetstone that I have is also $10. And the knife that I have is about $4. It's like just an old cheap Rapala. I also have a bubble blade. Be honest with you, it dulled after 2 or 3 uses. Enough talking. Let's go ahead and get into sharpening these knives. We'll do the whole paper test, and you can actually see, you're not going to probably see it very well on the GoPro, but you'll see right here where I was sharpening yesterday. And so anyway, again, let's get into it. See you in a minute. Alright, so this is just a quick overview of everything that you're going to need. This right here is just some soapy water. This is to pour on your whetstone. Now do check to see what kind of whetstone you have. Some whetstones are not actually whetstones, they are like oil stones. So you must put oil on them. Some of them are strictly water stone, which is actually what this is. You know, I only somewhat follow directions, and so I use this right here. The soap is just to kind of eliminate a lot of the friction, and so, but this right here is your whetstone. If you can see, you have a darker side right here, and then you got a, I don't know, like I'm colorblind as a bat, so, but you got your coarse side, you got your fine side. Alright, so for this video we're probably going to end up just needing to use the fine side, and then you just need your knives. So this is that Rapala that I was telling you guys. Actually, this is a Berkeley, not even a Rapala, but you know, it's got good flex to it. Alright, this is that Bubba blade that I was telling you guys about. It's a good knife, but as you can see, I've used this a few times. Not cutting no hairs no more. Alright, so that's your Bubba blade. And then this right here is, even though it just looks more or less like a steak knife, this is what I use for carving up my catfish. There's a lot less flex to it, it's smaller, a little bit easier to handle, control. Alright, this is your refining steel or your sharpening steel, whatever. Like I said, $10. But this right here is actually magnetized, and so the purpose of this is to, once you get done with your whetstone, it just goes ahead and it gets off any metal shavings that might be on the blade. Just puts a little, puts a fine refine on your blades. And then I recommend, when you have your whetstone, so I don't mess up my table, I put my whetstone here. I take my soap, pour it on here. This is actually just a dish cleaning cloth, little drying cloth, so it's extra absorbent. Anyway, this is all the tools that are an absolute must. You can also have a leather strap. The leather strap's more or less just to realign the edge of your blades. And so yeah, let's get started. So this right here is my Berkeley Rapala, is what I was calling it at the beginning. But this is my knife of choice. Like I said, it has a good amount of flex to it. And it's a super soft metal. It's made in China, go figure. So, but anyway, so first things first, whetstone. You're gonna want to go ahead and get your whetstone. Make sure you're nice and lubricated. All right, now when you're sharpening a knife, I'm gonna try to get this as good as I can on camera. You do not want to place your knife like this. That is not the angle. The way I like to do it, I like a moderately sharp blade. I want to be able to go ahead and do the hair test, do the paper test, but I don't necessarily want it to be razor sharp. Razor sharps tend to dull a lot quicker, and so this is about the angle that I like to do mine. Hopefully you guys can see that. This is more or less like a steak knife. That would be like a fillet knife. All right. So hopefully you guys can see that. Alright, now all I'm going to do, and I haven't been sharpening knives my entire life, so this is something that everybody can learn how to do. This isn't just something, I'm not some backwoods hillbilly that has been doing this. Mom and Daddy taught me whenever I was a youngin'. Alright, all I do is I start right here, alright, and then just, now, a lot of people, what you'll see them doing is they'll sit there and they'll put their fingers like this and they'll rub the blade along. I'm assuming, that can work. I've never really felt the need to do that. And so, like I said, just keep your angle. Keep your angle. And you're just going to let the blade do all the work. Alright, there's no need to put a whole bunch of pressure on there. Now if you got a really, out of shape knife that's all torn up, you might want to flip it to your coarse side, alright, and really get the apex. Now the apex is the portion of the knife which is actually sharpened, okay? This is like your backbone. Alright, there's no sharpness to that. I wouldn't recommend doing that to this side. Alright, but this is, your apex is what is actually sharp. If your blade's not in really bad shape, I don't know, 5 minutes. one thing I have learned from doing this, don't be in a rush. This is not a rush job. So once you've done a couple minutes of sharpening, that might be good enough. Alright. I'm going to take your refining steel. Alright. And you're just going to, I'll do it this way. I use the refining steel. I do not sit there and do this with the knife. Alright, it's much easier just to use the refining steel. But you're just gonna, now what this refining steel is doing is it's getting itty bitty shavings and it's refining the edge. And like I said, this one specifically is magnetized. We're good. That's sharp. So, alright. Go ahead and do our paper test. Kids' homework paper. Alright. And then for the hair, get rid of a little bit more, I guess. There you go. Well guys, hopefully you enjoyed the video. I'm gonna go ahead and get ready for another fishing trip. Hopefully, I can't do it tomorrow because I got something being delivered to the house. But hopefully Friday, the wind should die down. The Weather Channel app says so. So anyway, again, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit that little bell icon. It'll give you a little notification each time a new video is dropped. And until next time, stop sharpening your knives and go catch some fish. Later.